Imagine standing at the pinnacle of Wall Street in 2007, where Lehman Brothers reigned supreme as the fourth largest investment bank in the United States. With 25,000 employees spanning the globe, Lehman Brothers boasted a staggering $639 billion in assets and $613 billion in liabilities. Its stock hit a high of $86 per share, translating to a market value of nearly $60 billion, and net income surged to a record-breaking $4 billion. But what if I told you that this financial giant, seemingly invincible, would crumble into the largest corporate bankruptcy in U.S. history just a year later? By the end of 2008, Lehman Brothers had not just fallen, it had spectacularly imploded. With $619 billion in debt, how did a company that symbolized wealth and success become the ultimate cautionary tale in the financial world? A story of ambition, triumph, and disaster that shook the very foundations of the global economy. I promise you this, the deeper down this rabbit hole we go, the crazier things will get, as every layer we peel back reveals an even darker mystery. It's time to step into the insane world of Lehman Brothers. To understand the meteoric rise and fall of the Lehman Brothers, we need to go all the way back to where it all began. It's 1844 in Montgomery, Alabama, where Henry Lehman, a German immigrant, opens a small dry goods store. Soon, his brothers Mayer and Emanuel join him, and by 1850, the modest shop transforms into Lehman Brothers. Their initial success came from trading in commodities, especially cotton, a key market at the time. Fast forward to 1906, and Lehman Brothers takes a pivotal turn. Partnering with Goldman Sachs, they dive into the world of investment banking by underwriting an IPO. This move sets the stage for their involvement in nearly 100 new equity issues over the next 2 decades, including big names like F.W. Woolworth, Studebaker, and Macy's department stores. The journey of Lehman Brothers is a reflection of the evolving landscape of American investment banking, from surviving the Civil War to navigating the chaos of both world wars and enduring the Great Depression. After the stock market crash of 1929, Lehman Brothers adapted and grew. Through a series of changes, spin-offs, and mergers, the small commodities brokerage morphed into one of the largest investment banks in the world. Lehman Brothers' story of success and growth begins in 1984, when it was acquired by Shearson American Express for a reported $360 million. This acquisition marked the beginning of a transformative era. For a decade, under the ownership of American Express, Lehman Brothers flourished. In 1994, the company was spun off via an initial public offering, or IPO, attracting over $3 billion new capital and setting the stage for an era of significant expansion. The repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act, which had previously separated investment and commercial banking, provided Lehman Brothers with the opportunity to broaden its horizons. This pivotal change allowed the firm to offer both commercial and investment banking services, leading to unprecedented growth. Despite the challenges posed by the 9/11 attacks, Lehman Brothers emerged resilient, continuing to assert its dominance in the investment banking industry. By 2007, Lehman had ascended to become the 4th largest investment bank in the United States. The firm's meteoric rise was fueled by massive investments in mortgage-backed securities, or MBS, a move that brought immense profitability. However, this very success sowed the seeds of its downfall. By the mid-2000s, Lehman Brothers had deeply entrenched itself in the world of mortgage-backed securities. The housing boom fueled the creation of countless MBSs and collateral debt obligations, or CDOs, and by 2007, Lehman had become the largest holder of these complex financial instruments. The real turning point came in 2003, when Lehman Brothers decided to dive headfirst into loan origination. The company acquired several lenders, many specializing in subprime loans, risky mortgages often given to borrowers with poor credit histories. These subprime loans, aggressively promoted by the U.S. government at the time, seemed like a golden opportunity. However, this strategy proved to be the company's undoing. Lehman's massive investments in MBS were heavily laden with these subprime mortgages. As housing prices began to fall and mortgage defaults skyrocketed, the value of these securities plummeted. The risk that had once promised high returns now spelled disaster. But it wasn't as simple as this. By 2007 and into 2008, the housing market was teetering on the edge. burdened by an overwhelming number of risky and poorly structured subprime loan bundles. The cracks had begun to show as early as 2006, with the first signs of trouble emerging as the housing market started to slow down. As home prices stagnated and began to fall, mortgage defaults surged, revealing the unsustainable nature of the subprime mortgage boom. Despite these warning signs, Lehman Brothers continued to double down on their investments in the housing market. They aggressively bought up a substantial portion of the real estate marketplace, acquiring over $100 billion in mortgage-backed securities and assets in 2007 alone. This relentless pursuit of profit in a rapidly deteriorating market left Lehman Brothers dangerously exposed. As the housing market crash gained momentum, the value of Lehman's massive holdings in mortgage-backed securities plummeted. The very assets that had fueled their meteoric rise were now dragging them down into the abyss. The collapse of Lehman Brothers, a titan of Wall Street, began with the fall of its biggest competitor, Bear Stearns. In a Federal Reserve-backed deal, J.P. Morgan Chase acquired Bear Stearns in 2008, sending shockwaves through the financial sector and casting a long shadow over Lehman's future. By this time, Lehman Brothers was already on shaky ground, heavily reliant on repos, also called repurchase agreements, for its daily funding needs. To bolster market confidence, Lehman attempted to raise equity in the early summer of 2008. But these efforts were undermined when, in September, the company reported an anticipated third-quarter loss nearing $4 billion. Compounding the crisis, Lehman announced a staggering $5.6 billion loss in toxic asset write-downs, eroding investor confidence further. The repercussions were swift and brutal. In the first 7 days of September 2008, Lehman's stock price plummeted by 77%. Richard Fuld, the beleaguered CEO, fought desperately to keep the company afloat. He tried various strategies to reassure investors and stave off collapse, including a proposed spin-off of Lehman's commercial real estate assets. However, these moves did little to stem the tide of panic. As Lehman Brothers scrambled to find a lifeline, negotiations with potential buyers, including Bank of America and Barclays, fell through. The U.S. government, having already intervened to save Bear Stearns, was hesitant to provide a bailout for Lehman, fearing accusations of favoritism and moral hazard. As Lehman Brothers teetered on the brink of collapse, investors began to see the firm for what it was, a sinking ship. The warning signs were clear, with the swelling of credit default swaps on Lehman's debt, indicating growing skepticism about its solvency. Major hedge fund investors started to pull back, further eroding confidence in the beleaguered institution. Finally, on September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. The announcement sent Lehman's stock into freefall, plummeting by an astonishing 93%. With $619 billion in debt, it became the largest bankruptcy filing in U.S. history. The announcement shook the global financial markets, triggering a cascading series of failures and a severe credit crunch that exacerbated the global financial crisis. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Barclays and Nomura Holdings stepped in to acquire the bulk of Lehman's investment banking and trading operations. Barclays also took over Lehman's iconic New York headquarters. Despite these asset acquisitions, the collapse of Lehman Brothers triggered a domino effect, contributing significantly to the global financial crisis of 2008. Lehman's collapse left a profound impact. Thousands of employees lost their jobs, and investors suffered immense losses. The bankruptcy sparked widespread panic, leading to a domino effect that engulfed other financial institutions and pushed the global economy into recession. Richard Fuld, once a celebrated figure on Wall Street, became a symbol of the greed and hubris that many blamed for the crisis. Congressional hearings and public outcry followed, demanding accountability and stricter regulation of the financial industry. Lehman's downfall left many in the industry questioning why the U.S. federal government chose not to intervene with a bailout, as it had with other financial institutions. The sheer size of Lehman's debt and the inadequacy of its assets to cover the losses are often cited as key reasons for this decision. The government feared that bailing out Lehman could set a dangerous precedent and potentially exhaust public resources needed to stabilize other institutions. The bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers marked a turning point in the financial crisis, exacerbating the already volatile situation. The firm's collapse led to a severe tightening of credit markets, a dramatic decline in stock markets worldwide, and a loss of confidence that rippled through the global financial system. the impact was felt far and wide, affecting not only the financial sector, but also the broader economy, leading to widespread job losses, foreclosures, and a deep recession. In the years since Lehman Brothers' dramatic collapse, key figures from the firm have embarked on new paths, each navigating the fallout of one of the most significant financial failures in history. Richard Fuld, the former chair and CEO, has remained active in the financial world. In 2016, he founded Matrix Private Capital Group, a company that manages assets for high-net-worth individuals, family offices, and institutions. Despite the controversies surrounding his leadership at Lehman, Fuld continues to be a prominent figure in finance. Notably, he sold a New York City apartment for $25.9 million and a collection of drawings for $13.5 million, signaling his continued wealth and influence. In the aftermath of Lehman's bankruptcy, Fuld has admitted to mistakes made by the bank, but remains critical of the government's decision to let Lehman fail while bailing out other institutions. In 2010, he testified before the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission, asserting that Lehman had adequate capital reserves and a solid business at the time of its collapse. Erin Callan, who served as Lehman's chief financial officer, also had a tumultuous journey post-Lehman. She resigned in June 2008 amid suspicions of leaking information to the press. Her LinkedIn profile lists her as an advisor at Matrix Investment Holdings, reflecting a professional alignment with her former CEO. Callan's career after Lehman included a brief tenure as head of hedge fund coverage for Credit Suisse, and co-founding a nonprofit organization that provides paid maternity leave to mothers. In 2016, she published her autobiography, Full Circle, a memoir of leaning in too far and the journey back, where she candidly shares her experiences and lessons learned from her time in the financial industry. The stories of Fuld and Callan are emblematic of the broader narrative of Lehman Brothers' legacy. Their post-Lehman careers reflect both the personal and professional impacts of the bank's collapse and offer insights into the enduring influence of Lehman Brothers' former leaders. As we conclude our exploration of Lehman Brothers' rise and fall, we see how the repercussions of its collapse continue to reverberate through the financial world. The lessons learned from this dramatic saga serve as a critical reminder of the complexities and risks inherent in the global financial system. The collapse of Lehman Brothers brought down global financial markets, underscoring the firm's immense size and significance. At its peak, Lehman had a market value of nearly $46 billion, a fortune that evaporated in the months leading up to its dramatic bankruptcy. The decision to let Lehman fail remains one of the most controversial moments of the financial crisis. Bank of America had considered purchasing Lehman, but backed out when the government declined to assist with Lehman's most troubled assets. Ironically, on the same day Lehman filed for bankruptcy, Bank of America announced its acquisition of Merrill Lynch, another major financial institution teetering on the brink. Lehman's downfall not only marked the largest bankruptcy in U.S. history, but also highlighted the fragility and interconnectedness of the global financial system. Its collapse triggered a cascade of financial failures and significantly deepened the global financial crisis of 2008. The repercussions were felt worldwide, leading to stricter regulations and a re-evaluation of risk management practices across the industry. In retrospect, the story of the Lehman Brothers is a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition, risky investments, and the devastating consequences of regulatory gaps. It serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of financial stability and the need for vigilant oversight in maintaining the health of the global economy. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the rise and fall of Lehman Brothers, one of the most gripping tales in financial history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Check out my other video about the most wanted hacker in US history. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.